One thing I've learned about the men in this community, especially Igbo community, even black men in general, is that they never learn from history. They actually don't care. They will tell you, those whose mothers were widows will tell you what their fathers did, their fathers' families did to their mothers once their fathers died, automatically disinherited them. They will tell you how their fathers refused to create wills to ensure that there's unnecessary drama, there's no unnecessary drama following his death. They openly tell women that they are not their family, that it's their siblings that will remain their family. That you, the married woman, they expect you to adopt everything about them, give them everything about you to them, without them having to reciprocate in any way. Why am I saying this? If Naya's story,
tell that something was off because I didn't sound local. I began to explain myself that I'm the daughter of Peter. I'm the first daughter. I've come all the way from America. I know you don't know, but see me as your daughter. I've come all the way from America. I've come all the way from America to see my dad. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. The youths, when they started to kind of hear my story and when whispers started to get around, the youths were rallying up to literally beat the out of my uncle and my aunt, because for them, they saw it as an abomination and as a taboo that the daughter of the first daughter, in fact, of the first son of that household will not be allowed into her father's compound. So now the youths are getting rallied up, and people don't know what to do. So the Anowu of our community basically decided to call the police. Number one, I was assaulted, and number two, to calm the crowd down, because at this point in time, the tide was turning against my uncle and my aunt. When the police now came, they said, listen, ma'am, you've been physically assaulted. What do you want to do? I said, please, can we just hold off on pressing charges until I find the whereabouts of my father? At that point in time, my uncle and my auntie began screaming and yelling, he's in Abuja, he's in Abuja. I have a text message that I'm gonna post up here where my aunt is literally confirming that my dad is in Abuja. And a quick context, I knew my dad wasn't in Abuja because the reason why I was always checking on my dad is because, unfortunately, December of 2020, my dad had a stroke in Nigeria. I had fought for him to come back to America for proper medical treatment, but according to him, he was okay, he was fine, he was seeing a doctor in Anambra. I didn't trust it, I didn't want it. He's a US citizen, come and get the proper medical treatment, but he refused and I could not force him. So when that happened, I just let him and his family basically plan out his care, but I was always on top to make sure my dad was okay. But after December 2020, basically, I was noticing my dad's state of health decreasing, and I was constantly having issues with my aunt and my uncle in feeling like they were purposely making him stay in Nigeria rather than him come to America for proper medical treatment. So fast forward now back to the present time, I found it hard that a stroke-ridden man could now endure 9+ hours on the road from Anambra to Abuja. And then whether he went by plane, I don't know, but something was just telling me my dad did not go to Abuja, nor was he in Abuja. So when the police now realized that it was a welfare check that I was making on behalf of my dad, they told me that I'm obviously allowed into my father's compound, and that, I should, go into my father's compound and be rest assured that nothing would happen to me.
When I got into the compound, it was more yelling. Villagers were still asking questions. Why did my uncle, my aunt feel the need to verbally and physically assault me? And they began making more lies, but nobody was believing them.
We see stuff like this, we've seen it manifest in so many different ways. I mean, we see it happening to widows and their children. How many widows and their children do we constantly donate to right here on Facebook? Every Christmas, every Easter, women are on here. Even some philanthropist men are on here donating to widows that had husbands. We've seen young adults come to tell us that their fathers were very wealthy, and as soon as their fathers died, the family took over because these men refused to protect their own children. And why? Because they're scared. They're scared. They have an irrational fear that if something happens to them, you, the woman, will go and marry somebody else and transfer their what they worked for to these other men. Keep in mind that some of the things that these men have, they wouldn't even have it if they hadn't married their wives to begin with. But they have an irrational fear of losing out, and this is why when they're building homes, they're doing these projects without letting you know. They're buying property every day, everywhere without letting you know. They let strangers know what they have because you don't want money, they don't want to. Okay, it's a projection because why? How many women actually remarry after being widowed? Very few. Very, very few of them. It's men that move that way. A woman's body would barely be cold before even society would be like, oh, yeah, you need to go find your wife. Don't worry, God will bless you with another wife. But women, oh no. Matter of fact, they are disencouraged from remarrying to begin with. They are discouraged from marrying again to begin with. And so what we see is a lot of widows toiling, working like men, like slaves to provide for children that they had for these men. These children that have these men's last names. They've given this man legacy and the man has refused to protect them. Now, this Ifanaya story is actually very interesting because why is she the only one fighting? What happened to her siblings? I'm sure she has other siblings, right? But Ifnaya is probably a daddy's girl, but daddy never wanted to protect his girl. He moved back to Nigeria. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have moved back to Nigeria, but if he hadn't trusted his own siblings over the woman he married, if he hadn't been moving like a bandit, first of all, his marriage would have been intact. Secondly, none of this stuff that happened would have been happening. But no, he decided to choose his siblings because even when you try to point out that, hey, the way your siblings are treating you, it doesn't show any atom of love. You can't compare with me and my siblings. And this is why you will now go to your own husband's house and somebody will tell you don't have a say in the house. Meanwhile, said house wasn't built until you were there supporting and bringing in your 50%. Nigerian women, you need to move smart. And I'm glad that we're having these conversations on social media and a lot of us are beginning to call bullshit because only if Naya is seeing her dad as a victim. I'm not seeing him as a victim. I'm not. In fact, none of us have any empathy for him whatsoever. We're all in the Nto mode. If you had been a good husband, you would not be in that situation. If you had trusted the woman that had your kids and behaved like a good husband, you would not be divorced. But no, you ran off. And that's how we see all of them, even here abroad. And then they'll say they're going to go and do politics. And then they will leave their wives and children behind abroad. And these women will struggle like married single mothers to raise these kids. And by the time the man finishes, his wayward lifestyle, he will come back and then she turned the children against me. He turned the children against me. See, listen, women, you better learn how to move smart. I've always said, do not build with these bandits. If you don't know what to do with your money, pour it back into yourself. Yeah, because when you're not, he's actually like letting another woman be in her femininity while you're there slaving, bringing in your 50%, helping him save money so that he can have family projects that you have no access to, that he trusts his family members with over you. And then you will be left out there struggling. If something happens to him, you will be the only one taking care of these kids, because guess what? The family members never. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, my paternal side is the Nigerian side, and let me tell you for free, they were awful. 90% of them all. Tell me why this man will be in a situation where he will be out there. First of all, we know that married men live longer than single men. And so this man ran to Nigeria to go, like his daughter said, the Igbo boy fantasy. Yeah, so he moved down there, started life as a married bachelor, no, a single man, and then had a stroke. Isn't that interesting? He had a stroke, and then what did his siblings do? Lock him up in a room and collect his money. To the point that when his own daughter came, she was attacked. Now, I don't care about the religious undertones in that voice, because that girl, she's delusional. She's still there thinking about herself being a daddy's girl, but daddy never protected her. If daddy protected her, this wouldn't have been an issue to begin with. And that's how men move. When you are there thinking you're building with somebody, you marry somebody, he'll make your life better. What these motherfuckers are doing, like actually thinking, oh yeah, polygamy, men are hunters. Then they live that lifestyle, and when you now leave, some of them will be like, yeah, let her leave. I'll go back to Nigeria and marry a young wife. And that's what they do. These people are very self-destructive. Which brings me to this point. We're here talking about marriage, and some women are there saying, yeah, marriage is not a business. It's a business. Marriage is a business. If it's not a business, then why do you have to sign paperwork? If it's not a business, then why is it that when you're going through divorce, you're going to have to deal with a whole lot of paperwork, including custody, including division of assets? It is a business. Back in the day, even let's take it to the Igbo culture. What do you think bride price is? It's a business arrangement between men, from him to your father. Right? And so why are we here thinking it's love, when these men, as soon as you marry them, they will turn around and start violating their vows with audacity, telling you that that's what men do? You're there, you wreck your whole body, destroy your body, birthing this man's children, and he's there discussing you with his side chicks. You put your life at risk to have his children, and he doesn't care. You're taking time off of work to have his children, to raise them, and he doesn't care. And then the money he saves from being able to do all of this while you're doing all this extra unpaid labor, he either hands it over to his family or to a side chick. Who is losing? Marriage is a business, and once the man starts violating his contract, you need to be planning your exit. If you call him to order and he's not willing to change anything, you better start moving smart. I have been saying it for the last 4 years that you need to stop building with these bandits. If you don't know what to do with your money, use it on yourself. Go and give it to charity. It's better, because as long as you're helping him save money, he has extra money. As long as you're there giving him money, he's out there thinking, oh my God. As soon as he has a few extra money, extra naira or dollars in his account, he's saying, oh my God, I have yeah. And then, oh my God, I'm bored. Let me go figure out how to F, and I just need variety, hunter, variety hunter. And then put you at risk. Not only is he bringing home STDs, he's out there wasting family resources on women that are not contributing any value to his life. Same thing for the siblings. I mean, we all have siblings. And some of our siblings are good, but we do also know that we have horrible siblings, because this is a thing. We see it in the Nollywood movie. We hear about it. I mean, when I wrote this story about my uncle and what he did to my dad when he touched down in Nigeria, a lot of girls, some girls were in the comment section saying, oh yeah, my dad experienced similar. Yeah. We all have uncles and aunties similar to Ifnaya. Yeah. And so, why in the world would you now build and then start having so many multiple babies to help this motherfucker live out his fantasy of having 5, 8 children? And you are wrecking your body, you are destroying your ability to earn, you're having children that you cannot comfortably raise if he lives recklessly and dies very carelessly. You know, like if Niall's dad now, can he be useful to her in any way? No. As soon as he was able to, he retired, ran to Nigeria to go and live out his fantasy. And handed his whole life to his family because he thinks he loves. No, they don't love you. Once you leave and you're away, they're seeing you as a cash cow. All they're thinking about is that exchange rate, and that's what's happening. Okay? And so that is why when you're down there, you're a threat. These men will gas your husband up to mistreat you because they want to be the ones to earn. I mean, they will fight over the most stupid things, including a village residence that should be just for family. You know what I'm saying? Because I had an experience like that, and I'm like, okay. And even before that, once I started hearing about that project, I'm like, oh no, not even my 1 naira, because I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware. I just hear by accident about the properties. And then that's how you need to move. Women, marriage is a business arrangement. If he's not doing better for worse, you shouldn't be doing better for worse. If he's not bringing his income and you don't know anything about what he's doing, if he's not building with you, do not build with him. Do not help him save any money, because all he will do is spend it on his side chicks or pump it into his siblings while neglecting you and your kids. Don't do it. Don't do it. We see it over, and I've seen this all my life in Igbo culture. Widows are treated like crazy, and whenever you want to be, right, you're thinking about property. When you ask, can you write a will? How do you safeguard your interest so that your kids will not, because they're thinking that you want to kill them over how much. So these men know that they're expendable, they're useless, because how much money is it that a man can possibly have for a woman that sleeps to you, next to you every freaking night, a woman that risked her life birthing kids for you, who want to kill you over? It means you're useless now. If your wife wants to kill you over a couple million naira, you're completely useless. And so you need to learn. You need to learn, because they don't put family first. They put whatever that does not benefit you in any way first. And if they're moving like that, you too, you need to move like that. If he doesn't want to build, if he doesn't want to prioritize in marriage, then you don't prioritize it. Because women are constantly taking L's. How is it that you will go into the hospital, birth a child, and then, okay, some of them are having strokes, some of them are like being disabled for life, and the next thing they might be like, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this. For better or for worse, what is it exactly? He's not there for you in sickness and health, and when you die, he quickly goes and marries somebody instead of getting a nanny to take care of these kids, while he takes his time and finds somebody, take some time and heal, take some time and be there for his children. No, he's not, because the next thing, I need to find a wife. You need to find another wife that you will get unpaid labor for, and then she will come in. Those children that you died birthing, they will come and oppress these children, because the woman will be jealous that you have kids, because perhaps he doesn't want kids. See, being a married woman in this community is like taking many L's if you're not smart. And you need to be smart. Marriage is a business, and these men, they're not loyal, they're treasonous, and their families help them because their families actually do not have any love for them. I said what the fuck I said. Your family does not love you if they continue to push you to not prioritize your own family. Yes. And so if you know you're married to a man like that, you better be smart. Move smart, because we're seeing, you cannot be in this age of social media and not know what time it is. We continue to see, they even tell on themselves. They have told us that we are not their family members. And when you were little growing up, your family said, no, when your fathers disinherited you and said, oh, when no, it's a scam, ladies. Wake the fuck up.